Hello, my dear students. In the previous session, we had discussed about the double displacement reaction. Today, we are going to learn the last type of reaction, that is oxidation and reduction reaction. We are going to understand oxidation and reduction in terms of gain or loss of hydrogen and gain or loss of oxygen at your level. Let's understand the meaning of oxidation reaction first. The chemical reactions involving addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen, they are called as oxidation reaction. You have to keep in mind both the points. If there is either addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen from the reactants, then we call such reactions as oxidation reactions. Then reduction reactions are quite opposite to that of oxidation reaction. How do we define it? Let's understand. The chemical reactions involving addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen, they are termed as reduction reaction. Here also you have to keep in mind both the points here. Either there is addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen in a reaction, then we call such reactions as reduction reactions. For example, if I write here, this is a reactant which reacts with oxygen to form AO2. This is just the general form. This is not the particular example. Yes, here there is addition of oxygen to this reactant. We term such reactions as oxidation reactions. Also, if there is removal of hydrogen from the reactant, then also we term it as oxidation reaction because there is removal of hydrogen here. In the same way, in case of reduction, if there is addition of hydrogen to a compound, we call it as reduction. Or if there is removal of oxygen, then it is reduction reaction. This is just the general form of the oxidation and reduction. We have not balanced these equations because these are not any specific reactions. This is just the general form of the oxidation and reduction for your understanding purpose. That's it. Yes. Let us study few example with the help of activity so that you will come to know what actually are the oxidation and reduction reactions. Let's see it with the help of activity here. First, let us understand the oxidation reaction of copper. Let me read the activity. Take 1 gram of copper powder in a china dish. Place the dish on the tripod stand with wire gas. Heat the copper powder using Bunsen burner. This is tripod stand. This is Bunsen burner. We have taken copper powder in this china dish. What happens once you heat this copper powder? There is change in the color of copper powder from brown to black. The observation that we see is once this copper powder is heated using this Bunsen burner, the color of the copper powder turns brown to black color. Why does this happen? The solid copper powder burns in the presence of oxygen present in air. The copper gains oxygen on burning in the presence of oxygen to form black copper oxide. Why does the copper has turned black in color? It is due to the oxidation reaction. This copper powder has reacted with the oxygen present in air to form copper oxide. That copper oxide is black in color because of which it has turned black color. Let's write the chemical equation for this reaction here. We had taken copper powder. It reacts with oxygen present in air to form, we are going to heat copper powder here. We are going to get copper oxide, which is black in color. This copper is brown in color. Copper oxide is black in color. Now you can easily tell what type of reaction has occurred here. This copper has gained oxygen here. Which type of reaction is this? Addition of oxygen, that is gain of oxygen, can be called as oxidation reaction. Here oxidation of copper has taken place and copper is said to oxidized. Copper is oxidized to copper oxide. We can write here oxidation. That is copper is oxidized. Now let us understand reduction with the help of another activity here. Take powder copper oxide in a test tube and pass hydrogen gas over the powder and heat the mixture. What we have to do is we have to take a test tube. There we have to take copper oxide. Then we are going to pass hydrogen gas over this mixture. What happens is we observe the black color of the copper powder changes to brown. Why does this happen? Because this copper oxide has undergone reduction in the presence of hydrogen to form again copper. Let's see here. Copper oxide gains hydrogen or loses oxygen and turns into copper again. Hence it is called as reduction. How do we define reduction here? You know very well. If there is addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen, we call such reaction as reduction reaction. Here what has occurred here? Copper oxide has reacted with hydrogen gas to form copper. It has lost oxygen. So we call it as reduction. If I write the reaction, you will easily understand. We had taken copper oxide and made it to react with hydrogen. What happens here? Copper oxide is reduced to copper and hydrogen is oxidized to water here. Observe carefully. Copper oxide has lost oxygen to form copper. This is reduction. As we know, reduction means it is loss of oxygen. Why we call it as reduction? Because copper oxide is reduced to what? To copper. Always we have to consider the reactant part. We should not consider this product part because the reaction is carrying out in the forward direction here. So we are considering only the reactant part here. Yes, in the same way, what's happening here? Hydrogen is getting oxidized to water. This is called as oxidation because hydrogen is oxidized to what? To water. Because of which this is oxidation. We have already defined. What do we mean by oxidation? Either addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Both of them can be called as oxidation reaction. And reduction means addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen can be called as oxidation reaction. And here you have to note one more point here. This copper oxide has undergone reduction. It itself has undergone reduction and helped in oxidation of hydrogen here because it has provided oxygen to this hydrogen. So it is called as oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent. What do we mean by oxidizing agent? It will help in the oxidation of another reactant by itself undergoing reduction. And see here, this hydrogen has gained oxygen and undergone oxidation here. It has helped copper oxide to get reduced. So, it helps in the reduction. We call it as reducing agent. This hydrogen is called as reducing agent. What do we mean by reducing agent? Which itself undergoes oxidation and reduces another element or compound in a reaction. It is very easy to remember. The one which undergoes oxidation is called as reducing agent. The one which undergoes reduction is called as oxidizing agent. In your examination, they are going to ask you about the oxidizing agent and reducing agent. They are going to give you the reaction. You have to find out which is oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Always you have to consider the reactant part here. In this reaction, copper oxide is oxidizing agent and hydrogen is reducing agent. Let's see few more examples and note here the oxidation and reduction reaction are taking place simultaneously. Such reactions are called as redox reactions. Yes, together the oxidation and reduction reactions form redox reaction. You have to note this definition. Yes. Let's see some examples for redox reaction here. Zinc oxide reacts with carbon to form zinc plus carbon monoxide. For both these reactions, we are going to find out which is oxidizing and reducing agent, which is oxidized, which is reduced. Yes, for first reaction, reactant which is oxidized, reactant which is reduced, oxidizing agent, reducing agent. Let's write it for the first reaction here. Consider this reaction now. Reactant which is oxidized. See here, zinc oxide plus carbon. In this case, this carbon is oxidized to carbon monoxide. There is addition of oxygen here. So, this carbon is oxidized. The reactant which is oxidized is carbon. Then, reactant which is reduced. Zinc oxide has undergone loss of oxygen. Can easily observe here. There is loss of oxygen. So, zinc oxide is reduced. Zinc oxide. Then, which is the oxidizing agent then? I have already told you that the one which undergoes reduction will be oxidizing agent because it helps in the oxidation. Here, zinc oxide has undergone reduction and it has helped carbon to gain oxygen. It has provided carbon with oxygen. So, oxidizing agent will be zinc oxide. Which is the reducing agent then? The one which undergoes oxidation and helps in reduction of another compound. Here, carbon has gained oxygen and helps in reduction of zinc oxide. It has helped zinc oxide to get reduced. The one which helps in reduction is reducing agent. The one which helps in oxidation is oxidizing agent. So here carbon is reducing agent. This is for first reaction, that is zinc oxide plus carbon, zinc plus carbon monoxide. And this will be for Fe3O4 plus 4H2, 3Fe plus 4H2O. For this reaction, let us write the reactant which is oxidized. See here, hydrogen is oxidized to water. It has undergone oxidation. So, hydrogen is oxidized. For this reaction, the reactant which is oxidized is hydrogen. Reactant which is reduced. You can see here iron oxide is reduced to iron because it has lost oxygen. So, the one which is reduced is iron oxide, that is Fe3O4. Then, which is oxidizing agent for this reaction? The reactant which has undergone reduction will be oxidizing agent. So, this will be oxidizing agent because it has helped the hydrogen to gain oxygen. It has provided hydrogen with oxygen. So, it has helped in oxidation. So, this will be the oxidizing agent. Iron oxide is oxidizing agent. Then what about reducing agent? Hydrogen will be reducing agent because it has gained oxygen, it has undergone oxidation and helps in reduction of iron oxide. So it is called as reducing agent. In your examination, the most important thing they are going to ask you is which is oxidized, which is reduced, which is oxidizing agent, which is reducing agent. You have to remember all these points regarding oxidation and reduction reaction here. Yes. This is all about oxidation and reduction reaction, that is redox reactions.